Hello and welcome everyone to our special podcast, the NRLW 2025 preview and ranking predictions. So, to introduce myself, my name is Rob Vai. I'm the owner and director of S2S Sports Australia, and our goal is to provide a platform for girls to develop their rugby league, females of all ages in the game, to improve their game, but also give a critical eye from a coach's perspective over the game. So to get us started, I'm just going to give you a what to expect. So you know what's in this podcast. It's a first of its kind. I don't usually do um, very visuals for YouTube recordings, but I usually do it for my Instagram and other forms of content. But basically, we're going to go through my predicted ladder. I'm going to go from the order of 12th to 1st. And in each club that I speak about, I'm going to talk play transfers, my top three players to watch, and it's just going to be all visual. So whether you want to listen to this while driving or which is what I like to do usually with certain podcasts, or if you wanted to watch it, then that's up to you. So let's get started. So the first club we're going to look at is the Titans at 12th place. I had them there. Um, your coach is Karen Murphy. Let's look at some of the transfers or player movements we got. The main ones of biggest concern is Ivania Isako, Shannon Mato, and Emily Bass for me. They did, however, get Jasmine Fongavini, who's probably their most biggest signing, Pauline Pilia Rasambale. She signed as well. The three main players for this year is going to be Jessica Elliston, Lauren Brown, Shaylee Bent. I find that their squad last year they did disappoint towards the end of the year. They do have star-studded team, but with Shannon Mato and Ivania Isako out, it's going to be very hard for them not only to have that punch and go forward without having Shannon Mato, but also how Ivania Polite's involvements and how much she was able to assist with line breaks and tries and be that threat in attack. She really is going to be someone they'll miss. So looking forward to how Lauren Brown's going to step up. So that's the 12th place. And let's go into 11th. So my prediction, the Tigers, their coach is Brett Kamali. Let's look at their player movements. The biggest ones for them would probably be Nevada George and Leanne Funga. I think those two were quite big losses. Leanne Funga, I'll talk about later for the Raiders. Very good defensive center. And Nevada George, she was quite important at that lock role. Who they do get is Jade Fanua. Let me just turn that down to my timer. Jade Fanua. They also get Emily Bass. And that's looking at their squad. Well, their main player to watch will be, for me, Kezi Apps. I also think Losana Lutu and Sarah Tongotuki are also two players that will be very important. Kezi Apps, world-class player. She's going to be important on the edge. Whether she moves into the middle or not, we'll see. I think she done really well when she did for Australia. Sarah Tongotuki, tough as nails. She has got a lot of meters in her, a lot of energy. And Losana Lutu, yeah, well, I've always, sung her praises about how she knows she's the definition of tempo in the women's space. When it comes to ball in hand, she is really good at being able to manipulate the defense, being able to take on opportunities. And she just plays with that tempo and line engagement where she just, not having strike centers and not having their fullback from last year in Botil Vete Walsh, it's going to be a different, a different year for them this year. So for me, I had them at 12th. I think last year they were probably, only having, I think, only 2 wins. They weren't much of an attacking threat. In terms of just grinding and staying in the games, they did for a lot of the first half of games they played, but they would always drop off towards the end. Second halves weren't very good. And even McGrath had changed that. I think she was involved in both of the wins that they had for the Tigers. So she would also be another player to look for to pair up with Lasana Lutu. Now, 10th place, I had the Knights. So their coach is Ben Jeffries, and he had a fair bit of losses that he is going to be dealing with. Biggest one will probably be for me, Caitlin Johnson Green, along with Lation Halbert, Tamika Upton, Rima Butler, Hannah Southwell. They're very big names in terms of your go forward and your creativity. They did sign Botul Vete Walsh, and let's have a look at their main players. I think Eva McEwen's going to have a breakout year this year. She played 2 games last year. She was damaging. She played on the right side, so I'm expecting her and Southwell to pair up. Jessie Southwell, well, yeah, she's been able to manage a group at the highest level. She was able to be that the conductor, the orchestrator, and really lead her pack when it came to the state of origin. And she was, both sides of the ruck. She plays a very heavily involved style of attack, and she's got a great kicking game. So watching out for her. And Yasmin Clydesdale, tough as nails. I did say that about other player, but Yasmin, she does everything at 100%. And she will be the captain this year, so that will be interesting because they've had the loss of a fair few players. But Yasmin, she's done it at all levels as well, and I think she's going to be one who is going to be really important this year for the Knights. So next up, I had the Warriors. To all the Kiwi fans that are out there, all the Wars fans listening, I don't apologise, but I do know you are very, very loyal supporters. So I will give you that. But I do have to stay true to what I think. And yeah, I think the Warriors are going to be ninth. And their coach, Ron Griffiths, is probably one of the leading coaches in the female space. Won 2 premierships and is looking to rebuild a club from coming back into the competition. But their roster is what is got me scratching my head because a lot of their names, the 3 other I picked that I think are going to be crucial is Appy Nichols, Laishan Albert Jones, and Michaela Blyde. So it seems like everyone in New Zealand knows who Michaela Blyde is, also known as now as Michaela Brake. And she's going to be very, very exciting to watch. Similar to like a Stacey Walker coming from the Sevens, the whole of New Zealand backing her. But I think when it comes to Laishan Albert Jones, she'll be the one to watch. Runs a hard line, played in the halves at the highest level for New Zealand. And yeah, she's quite a durable back rower. And Appy Nichols is in there as well. She comes from the Raiders, and she'll be captaining the side, and she's quite an experienced player. What concerns me for the squad is not a lot of experience. It's very, very light on experience, but knowing what Ron Griffiths is about, he's about culture, he's about building, the people first mentality, and he just wants to have the right people. If you want to have a look at my interview with him, check it out on my YouTube. But I think he's the right person to lead this team forward. But I just think with the difficulty in their signings, not landing a marquee player bigger than Appy Nichols and Laisha Howard Jones, I think they're going to struggle this year. But they will. One thing is for sure, they will have a lot of support. Um, Next, I've got the Eels. So the Eels, their coach is Steve Georgalis. I thought he did a fantastic job last year with the roster that he had, and he definitely turned them around from, I believe, the Wooden Spooners the year before. And not a lot of player movements here. We've got Rosie Kelly off to the Cowboys, and we've got for their gains, Martha Mataele. Mataele, she played for the trial, played in the trial, and she looked very, very powerful. So she'd be interesting to watch. And that brings me to my three players in their squad. They've got quite a bit of talent across. Um, I thought Rachel Pearson last year was very, very level-headed. She knew how to steer the ship. She was probably one of the, other than Jessie Southwell, one of the key leading halves in being able to steer the ship with a kicking game and just how she was able to dictate what she wanted where she wanted the attack to go. And I think Harley Murphy as well. She's a very big name. Had a good year last year too. And my top three: Rory Owen, killed it for the Eels last year. Abby Church, absolute effort player, one of the most effort players in the competition, and Elsie Albert. Elsie Albert, I just see the amount of impact she has just from players will struggle to run at her and find their front. Players struggle to tackle her. She's got so many tackle breaks, and she's an absolute weapon. Elsie Albert gives it her all, so she's going to be my player to watch. But in terms of how they went last year, I think they definitely understood the grind. They stood in, they were able to withstand in a lot of the games that they played in that grind that I constantly talk about that not a lot of the NRLW teams have, and I just think this year missing Kennedy Charrington for the first part, they're going to struggle. Just having an extra replica, not replica, but with all due respect to Kennedy, but yeah, bringing what Elsie Albert does, Kennedy Charrington, she can ball play too. She's not going to be there for the first 3 rounds. The competition's 10 rounds. So I just think that they won't be able to get where they did last year. So that's my prediction. Next up is the Raiders, coached by Darren Borthwick. They have a few gains. They've got Leon Tafunga, Isabella Waterman, Jordan Preston, and they've lost Appy Nichols and Ash Quinlan. So my three main players: Leon Tafunga, best defensive center in 2023, 2024, along with Anessa Biddle. She's really, really good on the edge. Samama Taufa, can't go past her. She's absolute workhorse, and she'll be one to watch as she is every year. And Zahara Tamara, she missed out on Queensland selections, so I think she will be out there with a point to prove this year. Good ball player, and I think with the squad, I think seventh. The reason being they've lost their fullback, they lost their main half. It's just going to be a bit of a spine adjustment in chiropractic terms. And from what I've seen in the trial, Shael Robbins-Retty, they call her Shay Shay. She is just an energy player, very similar to an Abby Church. Just gets around the park, is heavily vocal in defence. I just think with that spine adjustment, new fullback, new adjustment in the halves, they may struggle a little bit, but they definitely have some go forward in Samaima, Gracie Kemp, and Holly Maidon, that's for sure. Next up is the Dragons. So, Dragons have a new coach this year, and that is Nathan Cross, which there's, by all reports, he's bringing a lot of great culture, a lot of good things. The biggest thing for me is the fact they've got a lot of losses. They lost Teka Katoa, Lexi Tawaniai, Tyler King, and just looking at those names alone. However, they did gain Hannah Southwell, Nita Maynard, and basically their three players for me is going to be Racine McGregor, Tegan Berry, and Casey Ray. I do think with the addition of Tyler King, that will be a big boost for them. Oh, not Tyler King, sorry. Zali and Racine McGregor in the halves. That will be, the combination that hopefully we're able to see consistency with them this year. They were at the bottom, towards the bottom of the ladder last year. I just think their strike players like Tegan Berry, um, hopefully they do come up with a way for her to get into better space. With Hannah Southwell there, she's tough. She's going to give them, I guess, a bit more fortitude, knowing that they don't have Tawaniai and Teka in their pack. The reason I think they're going to go better this year, I just think, because what that coach can bring, like I said, with all positive reports about how he's bringing them in. Um, I just think they're going to be able to compete a bit better, and they're just learning every year. So I think where they're going to go from this year, I'm thinking another level. See how they go, but Casey Ray was one of my players to watch, and she'll be coming off the bench as per their trial list. So she'll be exciting to watch. Now, fifth, I had the Cowboys. I just think they're a bit of a smoky. They're coached by Ricky Henry. Even though they've lost a fair few players, to be fair, they did get, in return, quite a few good quality players in Abigail Rose. She was really good for the Knights in the centres. Nevada George, who I think is, one of those locks that is going to create a lot of opportunities off the back of their halves. Rosie Kelly was good for the Eels last year too. Lily Dick, not too sure what position she'll play. The three, the three players for me, Nevada George, I think what she's going to add to their attack and their go forward. They already got a quality lock in Bree Chester. I just think if Nevada George was to enter that pack, she's got good hands. She's going to be able to, have a lot of good defense. She's got an offload in her, and what that would essentially provide is opportunities to stay in the grind a bit better and give Kira Dib and Tallulah Tillett, if that's how you say her name, those two were just really good playing off the back of each other. I like how Kira Dib, and to Lula Tillit, they keep to their edges in a lot of ways, and they're able to pounce on opportunities. Kira Dib has one of the best kicking games in the NRLW. She's a threatening half. She's good with ID, with the ball, and yeah, I just think Kira Dib hopefully can have a bit more opportunities to play off the back of this year, and they can clamp down on their defense and not let as many tries in, because last year, yeah, they didn't make the top four, but they were good in a few games off the back of them. Jakai Whitfield, she's a special player. She'll be in the centres. Hopefully she can get some quality ball. And that brings us to fourth place, the top four. Let's start off with, well, it's going to have to be the Bulldogs. So I didn't reveal that one, so it was an editing issue on my end. So the Bulldogs was my top four team. I had them at fourth. Braden Williami, first time ever coach. He's going to be coaching them. It's the forward pack for me. I just think with their roster, they've got such great names like, Alexis Tawaniai. I thought she was just a powerhouse last year. She's super young, still learning a craft, but she's that effort on effort player, and she's all about, backing up after her carries and her tackles. And same as Teka Katoa, the two of them, it seems that Lexus Tauniai is going to be playing back row. Um, I believe in what was named in the team list in the trials. I have to double check that. And yeah, her and Teka just were pretty much the engine room for the Dragons. I thought they did really well. Just seeing again effort on effort type of players, and they've also got Holly Wheeler in there. I think Holly Wheeler is great defensively. She's pioneer of the game. She's been around since 2018. This is going to be, I believe, her 8th season. Holly Wheeler at the Sharks was a part of a really good system, playing there in the middle. She's at lock now, and I think she's just going to be that calm-headed player that will be one to watch because she's going to be able to really control that middle third in defense, and hopefully other players like Bunny Hopoate in the middle as well as Tegan Dimmick, knowing that if there is a relation to Jim Dimmick, that there's going to be that aggression and ability, which I always say, staying in the grind in that middle third, because in the NRLW there is a lack of that grind to be able to stay in the game and just have that war of attrition and not be the first players or team to make those mistakes or to drop or to have those errors in them. So I think they've got quality players to do that. And again, Taylor Preston, great kicking game, was a grand finalist last year half. So she's going to be leading him out as well. So I have him at fourth. And if their outside backs can match them, then I think they could be the ones to enter the top four. Okay, next we have the Sharks. So they've got the same coach again, Tony Herman, and they have had a fair few losses. They've lost, pretty much a lot to the Bulldogs: Holly Wheeler, Taylor Preston, Tegan Dimmick, and I think who they've gained in Caitlin Johnson Green, if she is able to make it at some time throughout the season, which there are reports that she may. That should be a huge inclusion this year. And we also got Jacinta Carter, Tyler King. I think Tyler King is going to be really good to watch this year. I must have made a mistake and said earlier, if anyone caught on, that Tyler King was going to be at the Dragons. But if she is at the Sharks, then that's going to be quite a formidable, spine and rotation, because seeing pretty much, if you were to put at fullback Emma Veron, if I was to go to the team list trial, Cassie Staples was at fullback, Georgia Hanaway and Shante Kiara Ratu were in the halves. So it just seems like wherever Emma Veron's going to be playing will be interesting. I think, she's great fullback, really good at the halves. But let's just look at the key players. So Quincy Don, she's good. She's really good near the line. Got a good boot. She's a crafty player and she's got good service. Along with her in the middle pack is Ellie Johnson. She's really mobile forward. She can move really well. She's very strong and she can punch out really good minutes. And she's a powerful forward. So she's going to be one to watch. And Anessa Biddle, the best defensive centre in the game for me last year. Just her post-contact meters, her carries at a yardage, and her ability in defence to shut down other edges. She was the RLPA Player of the Year last year, and I think she's going to be one of their stars. And again, we've got Tiana Penatani-Gray, other players in there as well. I couldn't name all of them, but Georgia Hanaway as well in the halves. There's a lot of players to talk about, so it's just I can't put them at first or second, because the next teams I'm going to go through, I think their squads speak for themselves. Last year they were grand finalists. I think they were really good controlling the middle, the Sharks. I thought their defense was great under how Tony Herman was coaching them. Seems like it made things really simple for him, and especially if your middles know exactly what's going on in attack and the movements of where the ball's going and how to set up play after play, I think that's probably a good indicator of a team being well coached, especially in the NRLW. They had the go forward, but they knew exactly what was going on. You could see the communication between the middles for the Sharks was quite impressive. And again, their defense, the ability to slow down the ruck, I kept harping on about it last year, was really good. So they're third place for me. Next, it's second place. I had the Broncos. Scotty Prince, I thought he was doing a great job last year with their side. They do um, pretty much have really good gains. They've got Tamika Upton, Tara McGrath West. Those two are going to be their, pretty obviously key gains. But the three that are going to really stand out for me, number one, Tamika Upton. I've said it before. I'd love to see her pair up in the halves with someone. Imagine her, Gail Broughton, along with Tamika Upton. I think Tamel Broughton. I think Gail Broughton has pretty good game management. She knows how to identify numbers, and she does take it very heavily into the line. And I think Tamika Upton could play off the back of her because I do notice that with their fullback from last year, um, Haley Maddock was, she had like close to 8, 10 try assists. She had great hands out the back. Her defense, Haley Maddock was incredible in defense. As someone that played fullback, studied the game, studied counting numbers off the likes of Billy Slater, Darius Boyd, James Tedesco. Haley Maddock was on song, especially near the line. She was really good. So it'll be interesting there what happens. But look, Tamika Upton, threat and attack. I think if she's going to be there at fullback, she's going to pop up at the right time. She's going to be able to add another first receiver in attack if needed. And, both sides of the ruck are always going to be on notice. So, along with her, Gail Broughton, I think, again, I don't think Gail Broughton is such a quality half. I said before, she takes opportunities, she counts numbers, she's eyes up footy personified. And with those two, Keely Joseph, she's probably going to be, my biggest play this year for the Broncos. Hits under the ball, really solid in defense, doesn't miss a lot of tackles. She's guns blazing when it comes to her runs and her carries. She can get an offload away with this squad, depending on how they, rotate their spine or shuffle their spine and use, those quality plays in there like Maddock, Upton. What happens with Brigginshaw? Does she stay at half? Does she go to lock? Even hooker, as we've seen for Queensland, it will be interesting. But yeah, it's a headache for um, Scott Prince that I'm sure, it'd be great for him to have. And finally, the Sydney Roosters. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This will not take long because John Strange, New South Wales coach, he was able to manage pretty much the biggest players in the game to come out firing against Queensland. Queensland were missing a few key players with pregnancy, but New South Wales was as well. And I think, he just was able to really pull them in and get Southwell playing really well. But other than the coach himself, let's look at their gains. They gained Rima Butler, really quality forward. She was, like your off the back fence runner. She, would be taking 2 carries in a set sometimes. The forwards that they've got already, she is pretty much going to complement whether she comes off the bench. She's going to be really powerful there. They've lost Bunny Hopoate. Millie Elliott's out as well. Massive loss. Sammy Bremner, another massive loss. Tiana Davison was very quality. She's gone to the Knights. And yeah, the three I've outlined here. Isabel Kelly, one of the best centers in the game still. She's just, getting better and better each year, like a fine wine. She's been in the game for about, since 2018. Her 8th year as well in the NRLW, I believe. Along with Taryn Aiken, she's one of the best halves in the game. Good kicking game, great eyes up footy, and she just is able to threaten the line and have a selection of pass that just really puts defenses in all sorts. She's had a lot of she had a lot of try assists last year, and along with her, they've got another half, another spine player you could call it, Olivia Koenig. She literally plays that first receiver role where we've seen in the NRL, your Paddy Carrigans, your for those who watch the men's game, of course, I'm just assuming that you're coming here from different experiences. But Isaiah Yeo, Paddy Carrigan, just the ball playing ability of Liv Koenig. She's very unique. She is her own player, so I shouldn't compare it to anyone in the men's game. You know, her stats speak for itself. Just have a look. 6 tries, 8 line breaks, 5 try assists, tackles off the Richter scale, had a lot of meters average per game, and she was clocking close to full matches, I'm pretty sure. Haven't checked the stats, but I think there's no question they'll be in contention for first. I don't know if Corbin Baxter's going to make it back, but that alone is, that team alone is going to take them a very long way. So with that, it leaves me with my final prediction for this evening, and that is 12th place Titans, 11th Tigers, 10th Knights, 9th Warriors, 8th Eels, 7th Raiders, 6th Dragons, 5th the Cowboys, 4th the Bulldogs, 3rd the Sharks, 2nd the Broncos. And if you stayed here for the last 30 minutes, I chose Roosters as my number one for 2025. And I want to know, who do you think your top 4 is? I want you to comment it below. Let me know your thoughts on what you think the predicted ladder will look like. And thanks for hanging around. Yeah, that's the end.